I'm curious to see what Byun's going to do. I hope he doesn't go for the 11-11 because hopefully if DRG was watching that last series, he might be like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I know the tune to this song.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, I mean, Byun possibly could play a really strong mech style on this map. It is very nice, very choke-heavy. A little bit dangerous when you're getting into the mech style and you get countered by Broodlords later on because Broodlords do have a lot of area where they can just kind of pop up above a ledge and then back down a ledge, and your mech army is just running back and forth. And though it's really good cardio for your MMM, when you're running with mech, those Thors, they don't have the stamina to do that.
Yeah, and I like your point. I mean, with this map, there's a lot of choke points. There's a lot of these cliff hugging areas where, with the mech army, you can get really close to it, and it's really beneficial in the mid game. But to the later stages, it can punish you greatly. And it looks like Byun right now actually just opting to go for a 1-Rax, probably into a quick command center here, but no command center first from him actually.
Yeah, I'm really upset. I was expecting to see 2 Racks, maybe 3 Racks.
Jeez.
Maybe see one of our favorite cheese builds, but I think he wants to play this game a little bit more conservatively. He wants to play, a little bit just to possibly play a game that he's very used to instead of going for cheese, because if you go for cheese when you're already down a game, you don't know, if you're going to actually make it. And
yeah, that's why I was so surprised by Lucifron doing it, especially being down a game. But Byun's from a team called Prime, which I'm sure everybody knows by now. And, of course, they are very, very good macro Terran players. We've all seen Marine King play. So I'm sure he doesn't mind going to later stages of the game.
Oh, no, not at all. Now we do have that spawning pool going down, as well as the hatchery has already been started for a while now, so probably 15-15. We came out here from DRG. Very standard stuff, nothing too crazy coming out from either player. This Overlord taking his leisurely time over here, and ever since they got that speed update, they're now like the SUV instead of the family van, so they're very fast. He'd probably be way back here at this point, but anyway.
So in the first game, we saw DRG basically, I want to say, dominate the match. I mean, he basically guided Byun wherever he wanted. He had basically him contain majority of the game. What can Byun do this game so that doesn't happen?
We were talking about the mech before, and I think the amount of Hellions that Byun popped out last time was only a very, he got like 9 or so, but he wasn't really too active with them. He was very afraid of the queens that came out here from DRG, and very rightly so, ever since the range upgrade. But he really didn't take out any of the creep spread or anything like that, and he lost a lot of his momentum when those Hellions didn't do any damage, and the follow-up with the Banshees really just didn't do anything either.
Yeah, that's actually a really excellent point, and hopefully if he does end up going mech this game, he's able to do that. He did actually grab 2 gas geysers in the main, so we do have a factory coming down a little bit later stages, and at this point he doesn't have any sort of he's not signifying he wants to wall off on the lower ground as of yet, but it looks like Reactor Hellion, so just like the first game.
Well, Reactor Hellion, very standard build coming out from Terrans all the time now. Trying to use those Hellions to get the creep tumors out, try and deny as much of those creep tumors as possible, because that is nothing but trouble for a Terran army. You never want to engage on the creep.
It looks like DRG is basically doing the same build he did last game. It worked. Why change it, right? He's able to go to the mid stages very easily into later stages. And, I like what you said about Byun going mech, but I think even if he goes bio this game, I want to see a couple more siege tanks out during the mid stages. I think that's what really hurt him. He was getting surrounded by Zerglings, he was getting hit by Banelings, and he didn't have the shells coming out from the siege tanks that were actually able to prevent that from happening.
What would be a really nice statistic? How many neutral supply depots have been killed throughout all professional matches?
All of them?
All of them?
I'm gonna go
I don't know if
all
all of them, but I want to know like an exact number, like 200,000 supply depots have been killed in professional matches.
I like this from DRG. We do have a quick layer. I've been waiting to see this from actually both matches we've watched today. This is something that's becoming really popular. There's no reason not to. If you get a defensive Baneling nest in just a few moments here, he'll be completely fine for majority of timings that could come out from Byun. But I want to see what he's going to do with this quick layer.
Well, with a quick layer, you could always go for very quick mutas, which is a very good stopper to any type of Reactor Hellion play, because you don't have that many Marines, nor an engineering bay that really comes down immediately, especially if you're going for mech. So those mutas that could come out could do a lot of damage. Now, of course, mutas into the mid game is really not as great. We do have Cloak coming down here, though, for Byun Prime, so that's a little thing to note that later on, that layer is actually going to be really nice for the Overseers.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. And this is something that we're starting to see more and more, of course, is the Hellions into Cloaked Banshee. And, if you're able to time it correctly, if you're able to force your opponent into a situation where they can't handle microing both ends, they end up losing a lot. But doing it against a player like DRG, I don't know, man. DRG, I think he can handle both ends very easily.
DRG is just far too good.
Yeah.
I've seen him, at so many different tournaments, and there's just nothing that he's not capable of. And what's really amazing about DRG, as these Hellions go in and just consequently die, is that he's really good at reading his opponent and exactly what his opponent's mistakes always are. I've seen him just do like mid-tournament series reads on MKP and just completely change his style into just something that'll kill MKP perfectly.
Yeah, and did Byun see the Spire there? It's the natural base. He did run his Hellions by, but I'm just curious to see. It's at the natural to the right. There it is. So
he did actually see it.
So he started stem production, began Marines, and there's a Viking actually coming out as well. And it looks like a third command center, and it looks like 3 barracks too. Jeez.
Yeah, he's gonna go straight on into really heavy Marine production after this. The reactor, unfortunately, is not doing anything because it doesn't have any free barracks just yet. So unfortunately, that poor reactor is just doing nothing right now.
Oh no, the supply depot is open at the natural. Actually, looks like DRG might get a run by, and yes, he does. He's going to go into the main here. There's not a third supply depot. He lifts the supply depots on the ramp, and it looks like actually DRG is going to get quite a few kills here. Oh man, up to 4 worker kills already. Starting to bring it back, making the count almost even. And now DRG has the option of going into the main, but now there is a wall off. 7 Mutalisks are in production, and Byun kind of falling apart here a little bit.
Yeah, this is really bad for Byun. He is losing a lot of mining time at this natural. All the Hellions are coming back, but unfortunately they were rallied to the bunker.
No.
And oh no, they do get up on into the main base. He's going to get a really good scout off. The missile turret does go down. Mutas are starting to come out here from DRG, so if he is able to deny a couple more of these missile turrets, he's going to have a really nice open window for him.
I think he's going to have a really good window open. Right now, Byun does not have enough Marines on the ground to maneuver around, and now the Mutalisks are here, and there is no response from Byun. He does have the 1 Viking out, which will help him drastically, but Marines are starting to fall, and it looks like Byun's doing anything he can to try and stay alive here, but there are 3 more Mutalisks in production. Another Hellion does fall, and now the Mutalisks are starting to target down the starport, any tech that they can find. If he can take out that Viking, that's actually going to be very, very important. Nice micro, avoiding the Marines as much as possible. There are just a few more here, and man, Byun cannot hold this.
Yeah, there's not really much of an answer that he has right now. He's trying to throw down some missile turrets, but they're all getting picked off. There are a lot of barracks up, but all of the Marines are streaming out one by one. These mutas are able to pick them off easily while they're coming out, and as more and more mutas come out, what is DRG doing behind this? He has his 3rd base. He's going to be securing it really nicely. None of these mutas are actually taking too much damage. One does go down finally, and it looks like maybe a second will go down. No, all of those Marines were cleaned up.
Oh, and Zerglings streaming up to the main. It looks like Byun had his door down once again, and now DRG has Zerglings just all over the place. They're going to help try and clean up these Marines as quickly as possible. A couple more Mutalisks do join the fray, and all the SCVs are bunched up, and the Mutalisks are trying to target fire them down. Oh, man.
What a quick game number 2.
Wow.
Yet again, DRG comes in and absolutely stomps. And poor old Byun, man. And that ruins my day.
That is really hard to watch, man. DRG looked really, really good. He took advantage of every position he could get, and Byun just couldn't.